Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to announce that smooth sex summer is officially upon us. When you're playing in the summer sun, make sure you're groomed from pubes to bum. Thanks to our friends at Manscaped, you can make this season your smoothest yet. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the ultimate bundle to keep your boys downstairs cool while looking hot. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Get 20% off plus free shipping when you go to manscaped.com and use code THPN summertime, and the trim is easy. The Manscaped Performance Package 5.0 Ultra has everything you need to prepare that summer bod. Every man knows how scary it can get when going for a close shave below the belt. That's why I trust Manscaped them for all my sensitive areas. Inside this package, you'll find the star of the show, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Their 5th generation trimmer features 2 interchangeable, next-gen skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. We'd also have dual LED spotlights to provide contrast on multiple skin tones, 3 length setting combs, and oh, did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too. Beach, lake, or shower, this razor will devour even the strongest pubes. Now that you have the perfect haircut, use Manscaped's liquid formulations to keep that freshness even at the hottest summer BBQs. The Crop Soother Aftershave Lotion and Crop Preserver Anti-Chafe Ball Deodorant. Once they touch your sack, it will never go back. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 5.0. The Manscaped Boxers and a Shed Travel Bag. More what products? Say no more. Manscaped's new Buff Bundle is all you need to keep the summer heat a breeze. This bundle includes their signature silicone scrubber plus body wash. Ditch your nasty loofah and grab a taste of freshness. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code THPN at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code THPN at manscaped.com. It's smooth sack summer, boys. Get on board or get left behind.
Episode 82 of the Habs Culture podcast. My name is Justin Schwartz alongside Liam Baum. We just recently discussed the NHL draft. Honestly, Liam, we didn't even talk about the Sphere at all. That was pretty sick.
True. We didn't talk about the Sphere.
Pretty
cool venue.
Pretty cool venue. Cool to have one of the first sporting venues.
The first.
And I saw Dana White was pretty upset about that, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Tough loss, I guess.
Tough luck, buddy.
Pretty cool that it was the NHL draft, and they shot the draft board all the way up. Like, that was anyway.
And all the player faces. It was very cool. Very cool venue.
Wish I was there. Wasn't there, unfortunately, but it's fine. Next time that the draft is in the Sphere, or maybe the next hockey game will be played in the Sphere. Who knows? But cool nonetheless. Let's move on though, because as much as we want to talk about the draft, I really, really, really want to talk about NHL free agency, because there were a lot of winners, a lot of losers, a lot of people that didn't do anything. Speaking of which, the Montreal Canadiens did absolutely nothing aside from sign Alexandre Barré-Boulet and Laurent Dauphin. So are we excited, Habs fans? Are we not excited? Do we not care? I'll say the latter. We do not care. Because at the end of the day,
we do not care.
Canadians do not care the Canadians right now do not care to spend money in free agency, because what's the rush? Keep these spots open for those young guys. Dev camp, training camp. I mean, camp right before the season starts. Like, there's so much to be excited about for the younger players, and to try and make their mark and try and get a spot in that bottom to middle 6. So anyway,
but we didn't mention the Kovacevic trade.
We did not. Do you want to dissect it for us, Liam?
Dissect it. The New Jersey Devils trade their best 4th round pick. They have 3 4th round picks in 2025. And the Canadiens will get the best one for Jonathan Kovacevic. Unfortunately, Jonathan Kovacevic is gone.
I liked him, man.
Everyone liked him. I was looking on his Instagram, and everyone seems to love him. And he was a cool guy. He scored that amazing goal against Tampa from our own zone. That's what he'll be remembered for.
Florida, eh? That was absolutely.
It was, yeah. It was very cool. And they re-signed Slavkovsky. So they had an eventful day, just not signing free agents.
Which, in my opinion, Liam, let's talk about free agency for a quick second before we get into everything.
Yeah.
I think free agency is one of the misleading / misguided ways to build a team. Because at the end of the day, we can talk about Stamkos all we want. We can talk about Jake Guentzel all we want. We can talk about Reinhardt all we want. But at the end of the day, if you don't have the solid base in place with, well, I guess I'm rhyming now. But if you don't have your building blocks in place, then there's no point, in my opinion, to go after a big free agent. Can we both agree on that?
Yeah. Just a quick question. Do you think you overpay in, well, I guess you overpay in both, but do you overpay more at the deadline or do you overpay more in free agency?
It's an interesting question.
I mean,
Because one
obviously
is going to be money-wise, and the other one's going to be from assets-wise.
Assets.
But I guess I would say it would be way more worth it to overpay at the deadline, because as much as you're giving up assets, you're still when you commit to competing at the deadline, the direct line / direction your team is going.
You're pushing for the cup.
Exactly. So yeah, I would say it makes more sense, because if we go back to 2016, summer of 2016, when there were a ton of contracts signed in the NHL, a lot of those to this day have not lived up to the hype that they received on July 1st, 2016. So this free agency, or this one day, July 1st, reminds me a lot of 2016. And it scares me for a lot of these teams that, overpaid for certain guys, or, felt the need or the pressure to make a move. And that's why we have a lot of respect and a lot of love for Kent Hughes and his way, and the way that he manages free agency. Now, right off the rip, there were speculations that the Canadiens were in on Marchessault, where he ended up signing in Nashville. I don't know the term on that contract, but he did sign for the
5 years, 5.5.
So he signed for $5.5 million for 5 years, and apparently the Canadiens were not willing to budge on the term, which also shows the strength in which Kent Hughes negotiates from. Because what would a guy like Marchessault bring to the table for the Canadiens right now, when the Canadiens are still, probably a bottom 10 to 12 team, right? So I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense.
I think it was the right move.
Why take a spot away from young guys?
Exactly. He's not playing in the role he should be on power play 1, because that's what our young guys are for. That's what their part of the lineup is. So, or their place in the lineup is. So, look, I think it's a great. The best move was not making a move.
There you go.
And we both agree on that.
Print that on a t-shirt, Liam.
Yeah.
Put it up on socials.
Best move.
You're a philosopher.
To not make a move.
There you go. But let's get into it now. We're 5 minutes in. We haven't talked once about a single move except for the Marchessault one. We have a lot of teams to cover, a lot of fun things to talk about. Let's start it off right off the rip. Nashville goes out and signs Stamkos, 4 years, $8 million. The former captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning, leaves Tampa. Tampa does all kinds of things, but we'll get to that. They follow up that move with Marchessault. Marchessault, former teammate and now current teammate of Steven Stamkos. They pair up in Nashville, followed by the signing of Brady Shea. For, again, you're going to be my term guy today, because I don't know the term.
7 years.
7 years, $7 million for Brady Shea. He's currently 30 years old, by the way. But nonetheless, what are your thoughts on Nashville's moves July 1st?
We're going to play a game, and it's which contract was worth it. And the answer was one of those contracts. Take a guess which one.
I know which one you're thinking of, but I disagree with you anyway.
Okay, well, I think Marchessault was the right contract.
Oh,
Shea, okay. Yeah, Shea and Stamkos, overpay. Look, I love Steven Stamkos. Who doesn't love Steven Stamkos? Half of his points were on the power play with Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, and Victor Hedman. You're going on to a good power play, but you're going on to a new team where you're not with your 140-point player anymore, and you're not on the team you've been on for the last 15 seasons. So it's going to be a very big adjustment. $8 million. Look, he scored 40 goals last year. It's not an overpay for those stats last year, but I don't see him as a 40-40 guy anymore. He's going to be a 30. Look, at best, I say he scores 35 goals and maybe 30 assists, because he's not going to be that top guy anymore. And that's just how it is on Nashville. Look, they're building a sick team, and this is a team that's already becoming a cup contender just because of those 3 signings. But signing Stamkos for that much might hurt in a few years. Signing Brady Shea, I actually don't understand how Brady Shea got that much money. Looking at the other defensemen, I would rather Pesci. I think I would rather Montour, and he's making more and basically the same than both those guys. So it's really weird. He was never a top 2 guy, and that's top 2 money. 7 years as well. That's just a lot.
It's gonna hurt down the line.
In 4 years, it's gonna be bad.
But here's my thing, Liam. This is where I come to a crossroads with, I guess, contradicting opinions here. On one side of things, you go out and, in my opinion, absolutely steal UC Saros for 7 at 7.74.
Sure.
It's a great contract for a guy with who's probably a top 5 goalie in the league with top 3 upside at certain points because he's just that good. So then you make the case, well, now we have to put pieces in front of us. So they go out and do that. But did they do it the right way? I don't think so. And I think that you were saying you think the Marchessault contract is the one contract that's worth it. I don't completely disagree with you, but I think that all 3 contracts were essentially misses because maybe not the Marchessault one. Maybe we can both agree on that. And the term on the Stamkos one isn't completely horrible, right? He'll be signed till he's 40, which again, it's granted, it's old. You're getting up there in age, but he, like you said, he scored 40 last year. But I just don't think that you build your team through free agency. And I just don't think that even if you sign Saros for 7.74, this team is so far away from ever competing for a cup. Now, on paper, if you want to say, yeah, they got so much better, sure. But let's be completely honest. As much as I had them in my bracket last year, they didn't stand a chance against Vancouver, and they were without Demko.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be complete. Like, how much? Yeah, it'll change. It'll change where they finish in the standings. Sure, they might finish a little bit higher, but let's look at that Central for a second. Can you name me those top 3 teams in the Central?
Edmonton, Vegas, LA.
I mean, Edmonton is gonna.
Oh wait, the Central. What am I
Central,
saying?
yeah.
You mean the Pacific?
Yeah, whatever division they're in. They're in the Pacific. So
wait, are you saying Nashville?
Nashville.
Oh, sorry, they're in the Central. Sorry.
Yeah,
so Colorado, Dallas, and Winnipeg.
Correct, but I think there might be another great one. But anyway, I'll have it pulled up. But nonetheless, I mean, like, are they really ever gonna be able to compete against those teams? Like, I don't think so. Like,
I don't
on
know.
paper, sure.
Look, Askarov's gone. You got to think at this point. So you're gonna get something in return for that, and then their team will be insane. Like, they're gonna get an NHLer in return for him because it wouldn't make sense to take.
Okay, but define insane.
Insane is when you have Stamkos, Marchessault, O'Reilly, Forsberg, Roman Josi, and UC Saros. I'm not saying their team is going to be insane for the next 4 years. I'm saying this season, if everything clicks, their team is insane.
All I'm saying is that, yeah, maybe on paper it looks awesome, but at the end of the day, a lot of these contracts come to bite you in the ass. And the end of the day, as much as we want to say going into this season it looks great, yeah. But my point is that for the amount of term and the amount of money that they sign these guys, it's not worth it because, in my opinion, I don't even think that they sniff the Stanley Cup final. I don't think they sniff it.
Yeah, I mean, look again.
The amount of teams that they have to go through in the West is incredible.
Like, are they beating Colorado? Probably not.
Let's go through it right now. I'm going to pull up the standings. And we're going to play a little game, and we're going to say, do they beat these teams? Like, do they stand a chance against these teams? Okay, you'll let me know.
You know, I might have some controversial opinions here.
That's fine. That's what makes this game a lot of fun. But let's start off with. Are they beating Dallas?
No, I'll give that to Dallas.
Are they beating Colorado?
You know, honestly, I think it might be close. I think it could be. They're really down to McKinnon, Makar, and Rantanen now. I mean, Nichushkin's gone.
Landeskog's not coming back.
Landeskog's gone, and who did they just lose again? They just lost somebody else as well.
I don't know.
But they didn't bring in really anyone because they can't afford it.
I mean,
they lost Sean Walker, and they lost their whole bottom 6. They lost Duhaime.
Okay,
and they lost all those guys.
Okay, so you're saying they keep pace. Are they better than the Jets? Probably. Like,
it's
I
close.
don't know.
It's close. Yeah, weird team.
Okay, but if we go through the Pacific here, like, they're not better than Vegas. They're not better than Vancouver. They're not better than Vegas. I guess Vegas.
They just lost so much. And like, Aiden Hill is their goalie still.
Okay, so in an ideal world, but they're
Look,
not.
I'm not saying they're the best team in the West because they're not. But I don't think they're better than Vancouver. I don't think they're better than Edmonton. Even LA, I'm not sure because I think LA has made some good moves.
LA is questionable though. But okay, so you're not wrong 100%. I think that they definitely have on paper the team to succeed and be a wild card position. There's no doubt about that. But again, we can both agree that the term on some of these contracts absolutely shoots them in the foot. Because now, let's be honest. Let's say they're a wild card team. They squeak into the wild, or no, maybe they're comfortably in a wild card position. They make the playoffs. They go up against whoever they do in the first round. It's a tough matchup. They take it to 7. But let's just say, again, and this is all hypothetical, but they lose. They lose in the first round. That is mediocrity. So then where are you picking? You're picking from anywhere between 15 to 18, give or take, right? 16 to 20, right? You're going to pick a prospect that's realistically not going to be a high-end prospect. Their prospect pool to begin with isn't elite, right? You've got Tomasino, you've got Evangelista, and you've got, I'm missing one.
Yeah, Kemmel.
Yeah, you've got Joachim Kemmel. But these guys, in my opinion, are not, you're not at the top. Like
No.
Kemmel might be, but the other guys are, we'll see. So
look, I think the return on Askarov is going to be crucial. And
they already shot themselves in the foot by not moving him during the draft.
Oh, for sure. And they probably have no leverage anymore. And also, you got to assume they're probably not even making these first-round picks because Stamkos, Marchessault, and O'Reilly aren't here to sit around. They're going out and trading these picks for rentals.
But that's the problem that I have too.
Yeah, I agree.
Is the fact that look, when you assemble teams like you do with the Florida Panthers and the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers, you've got superstars in place that are there to win and win now. McDavid, Draisaitl, Tkachuk, Barkov. You've got J-Rob, Wyatt Johnson, like hints, like you've got names. The thing that scares me is that the biggest name on the Nashville Predators from a name value perspective is Stamkos. Then you've got Yossi and you've got Saros. But the other guys don't push the needle for me. Marchessault doesn't scare me. Oh, Forsberg is incredible. Sorry, my fault. That's a mistake.
Respect.
But Marchessault, O'Reilly, and whoever else they've got going at Nyquist, top 6, does not scare me. And yeah, you could say that those guys are gamers. Stamkos, Forsberg, Yossi, Saros, gamers. But the rest of their team is horrible. I can't respect it.
Look, I think they've got a. I don't want to go on Nashville for too long, but they've got a
defense is pretty decent.
They've got a good bottom 6, and they've got good pieces. And bro, they have Steven Stamkos Stanley Cup, Ryan O'Reilly Stanley Cup, Marchessault Stanley Cup. So many of these guys so successful.
Ryan O'Reilly, or did I miss?
Yeah, no, I said Ryan O'Reilly. So many guys so successful. So look, we don't know now, but this is all going to depend on how they do next season, and it's really going to tell us if this was a successful free agency or not.
In the short term, I think it makes sense. I think in the long term, if they don't win it, let's say
if they don't win a cup, this is all a bust.
But that's what I'm saying is that I don't think, again, you're saying that they might be good enough to win a cup. I don't think so. So it's obviously it's fair. We each have our opinion. But if they don't win a cup, then they're going to be like Brady Shea 7 years times 7 is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's wild.
The Stamkos thing I can get behind just because I think 4 years is very fair. Like I don't think it's too long for him.
No, but like
at an elite level.
Pavelski was making $3 million at 40, and Stamkos was going to be making $8 million. It's like, how can I don't know. It's just there's bad contracts. This is all going to come to fruition, and we'll be able to evaluate this after next year. So let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's
go to Tampa because I feel like they got the biggest fish in the sea or the pond here with Jake Guentzel, 7-year deal, I believe it was, because they didn't sign him in time for the 8, but they got him at 7 years. 9.5 million.
I think it was 9 flat.
9 flat. Lose your captain, Steven Stamkos. Don't know how you could ever do that to the guy who's run your team for the last 13 years. They extend Hedman. This was just a shot in the back, honestly. They extend Hedman today to the exact same contract that they weren't offering Steven Stamkos, which very embarrassing. Look, I don't know if we want to add a lot about that, but I just want to add in that they were able to sign Cam Atkinson, and they did so many things. Let's go to those first 3 things: Guentzel, Stamkos, Hedman.
I think Guentzel's an unbelievable ad.
50 goals.
I don't see a world where he doesn't exceed at least 40. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure. I mean, on that power play, you got to think because people were saying, oh, before Stamkos went to Nashville, well, what's going to happen with the power play, right? If Stamkos does come back cheap, whatever, one guy, there's an odd man out.
Yeah.
Is there? Correct me if I'm wrong.
For sure. I mean, they're not sitting in front of the net, so
right. So that's the point there. But now Guentzel, I mean, like points is an elite bumper player, but you can have Guentzel on the half wall / behind / in front net front, like kind of play that down low area. Like it's going to be nasty. And I just think that I think that it's a great ad. I think Guentzel's an unbelievable player. I think he deserves $9 million in today's market. There's no doubt about that. But losing your captain and the way that you let him go, and then just like you said, stabbing him in the back by extending Hedman for the exact same amount that he signed for in Nashville. I mean, don't get me wrong, Hedman's an unbelievable player, but I mean, you won 2 cups with Stamkos. You also won 2 cups with Hedman. But now realistically, Hedman's going to take over as captain, right? We can both agree on that.
Yeah, I gotta think so. Definitely
Anyway,
gotta think so.
and we're also forgetting the fact that they lost Sergachev.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to. Like, you free up this cap
Their decor
space.
sucks, by the way.
Yeah, it's not great. It's really not great. You have Hedman and McDonough. McDonough's old.
And then you have JJ
Good.
Moser.
Yeah, then you got JJ, like
Cernak.
Radish,
Cernak.
Cernak's reliable, like won a cup or two.
Right,
I guess won 2 cups.
But they don't have a legitimate 2 anymore.
No, they don't. They really don't.
Hedman, by the way, at one point last season was also playing like at a very low level. Or
Yeah,
2 years
2 years
ago.
ago. 2 years, and
So-
Sergachev was upcoming. Yeah, but look, the whole point is they freed up all this cap by moving Sergachev and moving all these different guys, and you just didn't get your captain back. So.
Okay, so put it this way for me. There's 2 things that I'm going to ask you. First question is you know what? No, it's one question. It's just going to be a longer one.
Okay.
Did they get better as a hockey team by adding Guentzel and adding, let's just say, extending Hedman, but losing Stamkos and losing Sergachev? Did they get better as a hockey team?
Yes, they did get better as a hockey team, but look, it seems like this is all a business in Tampa, and there's no loyalty. But if I was in Brisebois' place, I'm going out and signing Stamkos over Jake Guentzel. Because if we're looking at the numbers, Stamkos had a better season. You can't just look at numbers when you're doing these kinds of things, and you got to look at other categories in terms of age and fit and all that. But Stamkos has been there for so long, and this team was so successful. I think all they had to do was add again around them. They lost so much in the last few years.
I don't know though, because here's my take on it. I think you're 100% right to say what you're saying, and like there's obviously like a loyalty, and there's like a hockey code, and there's morals, and there's values. Like it's as much as you want to, but at the end of the day, it is a business. It is a business, and if you want to, if you're gonna ask me plain in the face, would I rather sign Stamkos for 4 times $8 million, or would I rather Guentzel at 7 times 9? I'm taking Guentzel in a heartbeat. Because you're gonna, well, not you specifically, but I think we're gonna see Guentzel absolutely, like, I think he's gonna be disgusting.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good. But I want to put this into...
And he's a cup winner too.
Yeah, that's true. He's 2 double cup. I think 2.
2 times.
Maybe 2. I want to put this into like a Habs situation. So, because Guentzel is essentially replacing Stamkos forward for forward, left wing for left wing. Stamkos was playing on the left. I want to put this in perspective to the fans. Let's say in 2015, no, not 2015. Let's say it was a few years ago after the Canadians made the finals and lost. Let's say Carey Price was a free agent. To me, this is similar as the Canadians not re-signing Carey Price and going out and signing like Jonathan Quick.
Look, I don't disagree with you at all. I think that, like I mentioned at the top, there is a certain level of loyalty, and Stamkos has been so successful with this franchise. He's the captain, 2-time Stanley Cup winner. This guy scores goals like it's no one's business. But what I am saying is that it is a business. And from a business perspective, I'm sure that Julien Brisebois took a step back and said, look, what I have in front of me is a Tampa Bay team that clearly right now has exited its honeymoon phase, or not even its honeymoon phase. They were as successful as you can be for one specific team. 3 times in a row that they made the Stanley Cup final, but they won it twice. But now they're in a low, I would say. They made the playoffs, but they lost round 1. They didn't meet their expectations. Vazzy didn't look as good as he did. Hedman is obviously getting older. Kucherov had one of the seasons, a season to remember. Point is still that guy, but they felt the need, and Julien Brisebois felt the need to make a change. Now, he went out and traded Sergachev, which is a significant change, but I guess in his plans, he didn't see Stamkos being worth it for the amount of money that he was asking for. And as we can see, 4 times 8 is, like, we just talked about the fact that it's a little bit expensive. Term is okay, but $8 million? Like, a team that's already struggling right now in terms of their depth is now going to get even worse off with their depth if you were to sign Stamkos for $8 million.
Let me ask you: do you think Stamkos is going to retire after the 4 years with Nashville?
No, I think he probably goes back. Actually, I don't know. Does he think Tampa did him dirty? I don't know.
I think he's going to retire after these 4 years with Nashville. And look, if we're comparing it to the offer Tampa gave him, which was 3 million for 8 years,
That's blasphemous, man.
I don't think it's that bad.
I think it is.
He's getting paid. Look, I think he could have gotten 4 million for 8 years. And that means he's getting paid until he's 43, 42, something like that. He'd be making 32 million in that case. He just made 32 million off this contract. He would have been guaranteed money, and he could have retired. He could have just sat on LTIR. So I don't know. Look, I think I think Stamkos wants to make quick money. I don't know if he put himself into a better position though.
No, look. So from that logic, you're right, because he would have signed 8 years by 3, which is 24 million. He's making an extra 8 on top.
Yeah.
Correct? So yeah, I'm sure obviously, but again, like you have to weigh the pros. Like I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know what went down. And it didn't seem like it was a nasty like breakup, if you want to call it, because it just seemed like it seemed like Stamkos was excited to test the market, and maybe just maybe that offer that they were offering him at 8 times 3 or whatever, 8 years by 3 million a year, was maybe just a smoke screen by Julian Breezeball to say, like, go test the market, see what you can get, but you know you're going to want to end up back with us, and we'll give you we'll budge. But clearly it was too late for that. So I don't know. We don't know these stories until they fully come out, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's questionable, but at the end of the day, the one question that you answered of mine was the fact that you believe that they got better.
Yeah.
So if they did get better, then at the end of the day, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing, Liam. And we're at 25 minutes. We're gonna make this a longer episode because I think there's a lot of stuff to talk about. But I'm gonna make it quick, and I want to hear what you have to say. Here's my. It's a business. It's a business. And if you looked at Toronto, completely different situation. But the one common ground is that they have a player in Mitch Marner who's getting paid a lot of money, and they will not, as of right now, will not budge on trading him. It doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. And in my opinion, as long as they don't trade him, it's not necessarily just him, but as long as they don't make a move, they're gonna be stuck in this rut of not making it past the first round.
Yeah.
But see, in my opinion, you look at Tampa and they jumped the gun. They said, we don't want to stay in this lull where we're going to lose, and we don't want to waste our years with Kucherov, Point, Vazzy, Hedman. We don't want to waste that. So they felt the need to make a move and change the dynamic. And yeah, if that means getting rid of your captain, it could be considered a low blow. There's no doubt about that. But they made their move. You told me, just like I believe, that their team got better, and we'll keep it at that, So
I think you worded that well. I don't know. I think that's a good point you make. And they felt they needed to make a change. They were in, obviously, 2 first-round exits. You're not getting any better. Your cap compliant is the right word.
Yeah.
And they basically couldn't do anything. So, you got to make a big move, and that's what they did. Look, I'm going to agree with you. I think they made the right change. No,
for sure. And I mean, that's definitely what I think. And I also think, I don't know exactly what their cap situation is, but I know that they have Hedman under contract. Like his contract only kicks in next.
It was an extension.
Correct. So I still think that they have some cap space to work with. Now,
no, I don't think they have any cap space to work with.
So what did they?
Because they signed Atkinson to like $900K,
right?
And they're like pressed up against the.
Okay, I thought that they had anyway. I saw that they had like 16 million or something, but I guess.
Well, I think 9 of that went to Guentzel,
correct.
And then I'm not sure. Well. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look it up. Yeah,
quickly, but if you want, you can move on to the next team if you.
Yeah, let's. I just want to throw in another winner here, because I guess we're just talking about the bigger moves, but a quick winner I think is Dallas, who re-signs Duchesne for $3 million. Obviously, the guy wanted to stay there. They are not getting Pavelski back, and it gave them some cap room. But Matt Duchesne comes back to Dallas. I think this is great. Like, absolutely one of the best moves again. Duchesne could have fetched probably like 5, 6, 7, maybe even 7 on a worse team, but they are able to get that guy back, and he'll probably get to play in the top 6 this year. And they've got a lot of guys coming up with Stankoven, Bork, and we can mention Wyatt Johnson again. So look, I think they're in the best position. They lose Tanev, but they're able to add some other guys like Dumba, Look, obviously not a big name, but their team is very good, and they're a cup
Because
contender.
they have a good core, and there's
Exactly.
no reason that they shouldn't run it back with a
Exactly.
similar.
Yeah.
team.
So I think they're a winner because they didn't do anything stupid, and they got Matt Duchene back.
Hey, there you go. And also, I just took a look at it. According to Cap Friendly, they have just south of $6 million in cap space right now remaining.
Okay, interesting.
So I don't know if like maybe it's because maybe it's because someone's still listed on IR or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking right now and yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure, but look, they resigned. I feel like they got another guy as well, along with Cam Atkinson.
They got no one on. Oh yeah, they got Zemgus Girgensons.
Really?
That's what you're.
I didn't even know that.
referring to.
No, I wasn't. But Cam Atkinson, I feel like is a good ad, and especially for 900K. Like,
Yeah.
he can score goals.
I mean, I think he signed to a he signed to a 35-plus-year-old contract. So that's why it was 900,000.
Okay.
And then the Zemgus one is 850 for a year.
I
Or
actually
for 3
can't.
years, for
I
3
can't
years.
believe he left Buffalo. I'm surprised. I didn't even know that. But cool.
Anyway, interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code THPN. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's code THPN, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in
Let's
Ontario.
go into
Bonus bets expire
another team that
168 hours after issuance.
buzzed
See
around a bit
dkng.com/hockey for
during
eligibility and
free
deposit
agency.
restrictions, terms, and
The
responsibility.
Chicago
NHL and the NHL
Blackhawks.
Shield are registered trademarks of the
So-
National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023.
I
All
don't
rights reserved.
understand what was happening here. They just decided, let's spend a lot of money. Let's spend a lot of money. Keep it friendly. And let's just go out and sign everyone. They go out, sign Toivu to a ridiculous contract. Look,
What is it? 5.3 AV? Or
something
5.3?
like honestly, it's not terrible, but I don't get why you're going out signing Toivu. You're going out signing Bertuzzi. You're going out signing TJ Brody. You're signing Martinez. You're signing Pat Maroon. You're signing Laurent Brossoit. Like, all these guys are players who should be on cup contending teams. Like, okay, you're probably getting more money than you would on a cup contender, but why are you signing these guys you're trying to lose?
Hold on. Back up though, because yes, you're right in the sense that why are you signing these players? But why are these teams willing to sign with you? That's what I don't get either.
Yeah. No,
See, like, I understand you're looking for money, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's a two-way street. And
yeah.
it's like, Bertuzzi's locked up for 4 years at 5.5. Now, he's 29 years old. He's not old. Like, he's kind of like right at that age, but
Like, Chicago's not contending for a cup. Like, is it really that much fun to be with Bedard? I don't understand. I really don't get it.
But also keep in mind that the reason that they're doing it is because they most definitely right now need to meet a cap floor.
For sure. But then why are you going out and signing them to 5-year deals?
Great question. I mean, I feel like the approach they took last year was good in terms of
the 1-year deals and just overpaying Corey Perry. So,
right. But at the end of the day, we can also make the case that Bertuzzi could be traded, right? Like, his cap hit isn't excessive. Like, 5.5 is actually a little steep in my. Like, what was he getting paid 1 year at $6 million with the?
No,
with
I think it was less. I'm not sure, but I don't think term is tradable these days. I really don't think so. So look, you couldn't be as bad as they were last year. They couldn't, and it's the same as San Jose. We're gonna get into that next, but like, why do you go and sign 2 guys who are gonna play in your top 6 and make you a much? Look, they're not superstars, but they're gonna make you a better team. They're not gonna win 19 games again. But you're just ruining your rebuild, I find. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess they're also, like, in my opinion, it doesn't really make sense, but I guess that they're looking from the perspective that they don't want to waste the last 2 years of Bedard's ELC. But at the end of the day, whether you waste it with 25 wins or with
19,
19, it doesn't change very much. I don't know. I guess sheltering him too, like, he's realistically going to be one of the bigger.
But then shelter him with 1-year deals like Nick Foligno.
Yeah, but and I guess I don't know, but like, what did they get? What did they give Martinez? They gave him. Oh, okay, they gave him 1 year at 4, so that
Okay,
makes sense.
sure. Brody was a few years, I believe.
Brody was 2 years at 3.75. That's fine. 2 years is okay.
Okay,
That's the
fine.
max.
That's
the
fine.
Bertuzzi one doesn't make sense.
It's the Toivo and Bertuzzi. I don't know. Like Toivo used to be in Chicago. Okay, fine. He comes back, but I don't know. Bertuzzi makes no sense.
But again, no, I was about to say something ridiculous. I was about to say, well, do you think maybe, come 2026, 2027, they might be in a good spot to compete, but there's no
But you
chance
still have
in
Taylor
hell.
Hall, I guess. I don't know.
Sure, but all these guys are real. Like, again, we want to talk about guys that are already, like, they don't even have goalies. They have Mrazek, Brossoit, and Soderblom. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Or Soderblom's an RFA, excuse me. But
like, it's weird to me. I think the goal is just be a little bit better, not a lot better.
I guess they also, I mean, we also have to look at it from the perspective that they do have a fan base and they do have people that are coming out to watch their games. So,
but we talked about this with the Canadians. Would you rather suffer now and not have as good as a team later, or have 80 points, 75 points, and just be stuck in the middle?
Exactly, and at the end of the day, they're selling tickets as long as Bedard's on the ice.
Yeah,
So
you're an original 6 team. You're still selling tickets. Okay, let's move on. San Jose, similar things, I gotta say, but they're a bit more advanced than Chicago, I want to say.
Well, based on the prospect pool.
Yeah, exactly. Based on the prospect pool. I love Toffoli. Apparently he was talking with the Canadians to come back. Didn't work out. I would have loved it. I love Toffoli. I think he's a great guy. I think he would have fit in great with the Canadians. But gets money, gets a bag, $6 million, 4 years in San Jose. They get Wenberg as well. Look, San Jose is not going to be good, but they don't have a bad team on paper.
Hold the phone. Did Alex Wenberg really get 5 AAV?
Yeah,
I thought it was 2.5. Someone had reported originally that it was 2.5 AAV and 5 total.
No, it was $5 million.
Jeez.
But
a lot of money.
Okay, but look at their center core. You got Celebrini, Couture, Wenberg. You got Will Smith. You got Eklund. You got Zetterlund. You got Toffoli. It's really not terrible.
Still have Thomas Bordelot also.
You got Bordelot, who's still young. Mike Hoffman, the GOAT.
Did you say Will Eklund? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they're really not bad. They're not that bad. Their decor is the worst in the NHL by a mile, by 3 miles. Did they get a defenseman?
Yeah, Jake Wallman.
Hooray.
He's not horrible.
Well, he's your PP1D man now.
Well, they have him, Mario Ferraro, and then it drops off.
Yeah, Ferraro, Thrun is good.
Yeah,
I'm really surprised they didn't qualify Addison. Very interesting to me. Look, they have Vitek Vanacek now, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I don't think they're that bad. They're not going to win 40 games, but they're not going to lose 60. They're probably going to win like 28.
They're probably, again, like Chicago, they're trying to be bad from a competitive standpoint,
But I think they're more competitive than Chicago.
100%. But they're only more competitive because of the prospects they have in their pool who are not even playing.
I like Mike Greer's moves. I think he's doing a solid job.
I hate on it, but the Toffoli thing doesn't really make sense to me.
No, and they made a lot of trades the other day. They picked up Grunstrom and the Wallman trade. That was like good stuff.
But why sign Toffoli 4 years at $6 million? Like what? Like
look, you want a vet guy.
Like you want to talk about the Bertuzzi one not making sense. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
either.
it doesn't make sense if you want to lose games. But I feel like they're closer. Like they're not going to compete anytime soon. But they're closer to. Like, I'm not even going to make that point because
you're fair to say it, because outside of Bedard and Khrushchev and Korchinski on Blackhawks, and Frank Nazar, you're really thin.
Yeah, like there's more.
And the 3 guys that I named after Bedard, don't get me wrong, good prospects, but are they elite? No. But Korchinski could be. But I mean, you look at San Jose, and I mean, you have like we said before, Will Smith, Celebrini, Dickinson, Eklund.
Oh yeah, I forgot Dickinson too. Yeah. He's coming up too. I wonder if he'll play in the NHL. I doubt it, but could be. Look, in 2 years they could be a decent team. Like maybe not wild card, but
especially if they have another good draft and maybe another good
low pick.
Decent, but again, if you follow the Habs path as they've been doing so far, the Canadians, is that they've been really, really emphasizing the draft and moving guys of value at the deadline and maximizing that.
Yeah.
But also, and the Canadians are not. They might go 3 for 3 for this 3rd off season in a row, where they try and trade some of that draft capital / a player in their system for an NHL ready guy. And that's not a horrible thing to do if you're in San Jose's position, because not only do you prepare yourself for when your talented guys come up through the pipeline, but you also have the potential of attracting better free agents, considering that your team looks better on paper.
Yeah.
Right. So like it's win-win by making trades like that. And I'm really, really hoping, I mean, we'll talk about this in another episode, but Natchez, Ehlers, Line, Zegras, these are all guys that are floating around on the market, potential of getting moved. Could be a really good move for the Canadians. But anyway, we'll keep it at that.
I don't have this team on the list right now. I can't believe I forgot them, but let's talk about it quick because we have probably an audience that listens that are Maple Leafs fans, and I don't even know what to say.
It's disastrous, to be honest. And by the way, this is not coming from a place of hatred towards the Leafs.
No, not at all.
Just coming from a place like I don't get it.
It's like, okay, Domi contract, good. I like it. 3.75 mil. I forget how many years.
4
years. I don't think that's bad.
No,
and I think he's better than Bertuzzi. I think he brings more than Bertuzzi. And I think he was one of their better players in the playoffs. So good. But why are you going out and giving Oliver Ekman-Larsson 4 years, 3.5 million? Who else was offering that? No, there's no chance anybody was.
And why is Chris Tanev getting 6 years at $4.5 million at 34 years old? Like
that's a good contract for now. For 2 years. That is bad in 2 years after that.
No doubt. I mean, and then you look, you sign Stolarz. I think that's a solid backup signing, but you lose Samsonov, which is I think that they were completely fine to. I think that the Woll signing was a solid signing because he still has 1 year on his $766,000 contract. So if he plays well and makes they might have saved a decent amount of money going into the 2025-26 season. I mean, other than that though, like it was underwhelming. And I think it's going to continue to be underwhelming until they move one of their big guys. We've said it over and over and over and over and over again. And I stand by it. I think Marner needs to go. And I think it has to be now, this offseason now, because he's not a guy you trade at the deadline. No. He's not. That's if you trade Mitch Marner at the deadline, that is sickening.
No, but they wouldn't do that. They're going to be a good team.
Yes, but
as they always are, as in the regular season.
But we say that they wouldn't do that. At the end of the day, if they make it through this offseason without trading Mitch Marner, they get to the trade deadline. And let's be honest here. Do you think Mitch Marner re-signs with the Leafs? Like, I guess we don't know yet.
I want to say yes, because he's from Toronto.
You want to say yes, but what does he get when the cap goes up?
More.
Oh,
he gets more.
He gets more than he's already getting paid, which is what? Right here, I have it in front of me. Oh, yeah. 10.9 million.
Yeah.
Let's round up a little bit. But Tavares does come off the books after next year as well.
The Leafs didn't need to do anything big. It's just questionable what they did. And I think, look, their decor did get better. I think it did get better, and they addressed that problem. It's just a lot of money. Again, they spend so much money, and the term is bad on Tanev. And I think that's all we're going to highlight. But I think bringing Domi back was their best move of the day. Moving on, let's go to another team that gained and lost with the Florida Panthers. Re-sign Sam Reinhart. Probably the best deal of the day, I want to say. Other than Jeff Skinner and Matt Duchene, I think that's the best deal of the day. Bill Zito, W.
It was under the amount that we had speculated, right?
Yeah, we thought 9.5, maybe 10, maybe 10.5 if he hit the market.
Yeah, well, fair enough, I guess.
But 8.65, they get it on an 8-year deal. 57 goals. When has a 57-goal scorer ever signed for less than
94 points?
94 points. Crazy. And they got him. But that did come at a cost because they lost basically their whole decor besides Gustav Forsling and Aaron Ekblad. And they lose their dynamo defenseman, Brandon Montour. Look, because Florida didn't do that much, I think Tarasenko's still a free agent. So, look, they're still a good team coming off a cup win. You're going to lose guys regardless, but they weren't going to be able to pay Montour, and he gets an absolute bag. I think we should just transition right there unless you have something to say about Florida.
Nope. Let's move on.
Let's go to Utah, Seattle. Keep messing up their...
So easy to mess them up. It's crazy.
They should have done a different color, like put some purple in there or something. I don't know. Montour, 7.14 mil, 7 years. Good defenseman. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of term. He's relatively old.
Montour?
Yeah.
I think he's 30.
Okay. But anyways, look, the 7-year deals are crazy. Yeah. Look, Seattle added. They definitely added with Montour and Chandler Stevenson, but That's a lot of money, especially for Chandler Stevenson. 6.25 for
And the term.
yeah.
term,
What is
the
it?
term, the term.
6.5
I'm not even kidding.
7
It's
8. What was it?
it ends UFA at the end of the 2030-31 season. So that's
Like
7
oh
years.
my
7 years at
God.
6.25. It's just honestly that is the that is the epitome of how this free agency went down.
Yeah.
It's extending guys that are average to above average for way too much money and way too much term. And Chandler Stevenson is a great player on Vegas for a bargain. He's a good player on a team that needs a unbelievable third line center with the potential of moving up to that second line role if need be. But to now sign him to Seattle, like if I read you their team, like nothing pushes the needle for me. And that move certainly does not push the needle. So
It's just the signing of a center. Like, okay, he could play the wing, but signing of a center when you just drafted Catton, you have Shane Wright and you have Beniers. Like, what, he's going to play on your fourth line?
And trust me, Catton's going to be playing before 2029.
Yeah. He's in the league in 2-3 years. So at worst, yeah, exactly. So I don't get it. I really didn't get it at all.
Like, look, the Montour thing, I can understand.
Yeah.
But he's also 30. So right now he's taking up 8.1% of their cap space. Like, that's a lot.
I think it's good, but they're just, they're a very mid team. Very, very mid team. And look, Dunn and Montour are going to be great.
But I'll take Dunn at 7.350 for at 8.4% of the cap over Montour in his contract. For sure.
Yeah.
Dunn's unbelievable.
Look, Dunn is,
and he's 3 years younger.
There you go. Look, they have both of them, but
do what you want with
anyways, yeah. Let's go with the similar Jersey team, Utah. Crazy week for them. Most moves, I think the Arizona, connection, whatever you want to call it, that franchise has ever made. I've never seen so many moves for one team in the span of like 48 hours. They go out, acquire Mikhail Sergachev, like we talked about before, and then they acquire, or it might have been one before the other, but John Marino at the same time. There's your 1-2 on your decor. You got Sean Dursey as well. Yusuf Valimaki's back.
Other than that, they have Ian Cole and Michael Kesslering.
Look, both good bottom two defensemen, I guess.
They're not getting over. I mean, Ian Cole has 1 year at 3.1, so
yeah,
it's not horrible.
Do you think this team can contend for a wild card spot?
Not in a million years.
Really?
No, I don't.
Damn.
I don't.
I really think they can.
I mean, yeah, they got better on the back end, but what did they add up front? I mean, yeah, Clayton Keller is an unbelievable player, but I mean, you look like, Logan Cooley is going to be in his second season. I mean, but Barrett Hayton is currently an RFA who has not signed a contract. Matias Michelli, we both like, but has he pushed? Like, are these guys pushing the needle for a wild card in that, again, aforementioned stacked West? I don't know. I don't think so. And again, but they're in a position where, like, they're doing well from a cap perspective. They don't have too many guys
so
that
much
are
cap space.
And you have Keller for 4 more years at 7.15. That's a bargain. And he's 25 years old. So
we didn't even Genter's there too. Like all their guys are taking the next step. Lawson Krause. Like last year I said Arizona was gonna make the wild card spot, but obviously that didn't turn out well. But I think they improved a lot. Of course
they did. I mean, they got Sergachev and you got Marino, and what did they lose? Nothing.
Look, they were right there until they went on that 15-game losing streak. So you erase that. Maybe they're closer. Their team got better, and they do have prospects. We didn't even talk about Geeky, who top prospect in the league. He's now on Tampa, which is Tampa needed that move, I guess. It's they're finally building a little bit of a prospect pool here, but yeah, we'll leave that to the side.
I'm gonna rapid fire here. I'm gonna rapid fire because I feel like it would be interesting to do this segment. I'm gonna ask you for a letter grade from these offseason moves.
Okay.
And not the ones that we talked about. I'm gonna give you 3.
Okay.
The New Jersey Devils acquiring Markstrom, Brett Pesce, Brendan Dillon, and Kovacevic.
B.
Then we move to the Washington Capitals. They acquire Mangiapane, Jacob Chikrin, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Logan Thompson, Matt Roy, and they re-sign Connor McMichael.
So controversial. A-.
I like it. I think that's fair. The Boston Bruins, they add Lindholm, add Zadorov, lose no one, from what I understand.
I'm gonna give that a B+. I'll give it a B+, but I hate those contracts.
Okay.
But fair. I think they added what they needed.
Jeff Skinner. The Edmonton Oilers, they add Jeff Skinner and add Victor Arvidsson while also re-signing Connor Brown and Matthias Janmark.
A+. What an offseason. Well, so far. Defense didn't get any better, but that forward core is scary. So scary. They got Henrique back.
Yep, they got Henry back, and I mean, if you're operating with a guy like Evander Kane as your 7th best forward, if you want to put it that way, I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think they had a terrific offseason. One more team. I think we talked about all these teams on our list right now.
We did, but I feel like there's one more that I'm thinking about, but maybe I'm not.
I'm not sure. I mean, we highlighted definitely the biggest moves. Just going back to Edmonton quickly. I think they're the favorites coming into next season.
I know the team that we didn't talk about because they're so pathetic. The Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
I think that they debatably had one of the worst off seasons so far that I've ever seen. I mean,
David
what are you
Perron.
doing? What are you doing? You traded for Chikrin, you gave up a haul, and then you traded for a bag of chips.
Well, they did get Linus Ullmark.
Sure. If we want it, yes,
But-
you're right.
Look, I've been saying this,
But the Chikrin trade is ridiculous. How do you not hold him until
I don't know.
at least the trade deadline? No.
and that return was terrible.
Nick Jensen in a
Honestly,
third?
terrible. Like Nick Jensen, respectable guy, but come on, like it's Jacob Chikrin. You traded a first and 2 seconds for him, 2 firsts and a
Too
second.
much. Tell you that
Too much. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Ottawa. Look, Linus Ullmark, awesome. You pick up a goalie, but your problem is your defense. You have no defense. Shabbat is not a number one. Sanderson is still so young, and then you're telling me you have Artem Zub, and then
And honestly, Shabbat is so injury prone too.
so injury prone. Like, how do they not realize this issue?
I'll pump the brakes though. They, like you said, they did get Linus Ullmark, and they also did re-sign Shane Pinto to a pretty favorable
Sure.
bridge deal there. And also the other team that I wanted to highlight also, I mean, not to rag on this team, but the Detroit Red Wings. I'm starting to believe less and less in this Yeiser plan, if you want to put it that way. I mean, they go out and draft Michael Branson-Nygaard, which is again another player that, you know, maybe has the upside, but kind of, again, you're adding another player that plays so similar in style to a lot of the guys that you have. Kind of like I mentioned before in the draft episode about the Buffalo Sabres. But not only that, you get Patrick Kane, sure, 1 year, $4 million, great. But other than that, I mean, like, you literally traded away Wallman because you didn't like his cap, so you traded away for future considerations, but yet you hold on to Ben Sherratt, Jeff Petrie, and Justin Hall.
Yeah,
Like, what's the deal there?
I think their biggest loss was losing Shane Gostisbehere.
That too. Sorry, I completely forgot.
They decided to lose Shane Gostisbehere for $3.2 million and signed Eric Gustafsson for $2 million. Last year they signed Sherratt. Was it last year they got Sherratt? Maybe the year before. Anyways, last 2 years they've gotten Sherratt, Petrie, and Justin Holl. Where is Justin Holl? Not playing. How much is he making? $3.4 million. What is this plan? I don't see the plan anymore. I really don't see it. You have Seider, you have Edvinsson. You have Axel Sandin Pellikka. Why are you going out and signing these bums? I'm sorry, like no diss. Petrie is past his prime. Sherratt is past his prime. Says all these
Just buy them out. What's going on here?
But what was the point of giving all this money to D-men when you're just gonna go out and draft D-men? So I don't understand. I like their forwards. They even I like some of their forwards, but they shovel out money to so many random guys. Like, okay, JT Compher is good, but you're not winning a cup with JT Compher as your second line center.
But pump the brakes, because at the end of the day, they're not even winning a cup with the 3 guys that you just mentioned getting paid what they're getting paid.
Yeah.
And as long as they're getting paid that much, like you said, like you still got 2 years left of Sherratt at just south of $5 million, which is ridiculous in itself. Same thing with Sherratt, except it's just south of $3.5 million. Million. I just said million, like million, and then you still got 1 year left. Whatever, Petrie, you can scrap that. That's fine. He's got 2.3 million. You're gonna let him walk. But also Eric Gustafsson, they just signed this guy for $2 million. Like,
and he's your PP1 defenseman now.
God. And you also got Oli Mata 1 more year at $3 million too.
How many defensemen do they have? It's crazy. It's actually crazy.
And I think we're also forgetting that after this or going into next season, Moritz Seider is fully an RFA. So they're gonna have to give him money.
I don't know what this cap space is, and they don't have a goalie. Like
they have Billy Husso, Cam Talbot, Alex Line, and Jack Campbell that they signed.
It's true. They got Cam Talbot and Jack Campbell. Wow, what a duo. What a duo. Yeah, this team will not make the playoffs again. You can hear it from me first. They're
as
not
much as they have some elite talent up front, I think they're also stuck in mediocrity. So with that being said, that's why I like being a Montreal Canadiens fan, because as much as we've gone through it in the last 3-4 years, we made a cup final, sure, memorable run, no doubt. But Canadians have built a very, very, very nice base for themselves. I can run you through the prospects, but Liam, let's be honest, it's too many to say out loud because I don't want to waste our listeners'
Exactly.
time.
I don't want to waste my
I
time with
don't
that.
wanna waste
Let me ask you a quick question. We can kind of leave it off here. Who are non-playoff teams after this free agency you see making the playoffs this coming season?
Ooh, I like that question.
I'm going to pull it up.
So when
as
you
well.
say non-playoff teams, you mean guys
this
that didn't
past
make
year.
the playoffs last year?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Non-playoff teams that I see making the playoffs this year.
After their draft, free agency, whatever you want to, speculate. After this offseason, there's obviously a lot of offseason left.
No, for sure. I think if there's one easy move or one easy answer, at least in the East, it would definitely be New Jersey for me.
Yeah.
I think that's very easy. Like they addressed the Markstrom situation. They drafted Salayev, which obviously doesn't matter directly right away, but they also go out and get Ghost Spear. Correct me. Am I correct on that?
Carolina got him.
Again, the colors. It's always
Yeah.
mixing me up. I swear. But yeah, okay. So I'm wrong there, but nonetheless, they
got Pesci and Dillon, New Jersey.
correct. So it's Pesci. So they got Pesci, Dillon on D. Their D core looks very, very good, assuming Dougie stays healthy. Their forward core, if they can produce a little bit better than last season. Again, coaching change also. So all those things considered, I think that they're my team in the East to squeak into a playoff spot over like a Washington, for example.
We didn't even mention this team, and now that I'm looking at it right now, silent as a whistle, and no big moves. I don't. I guess when you don't blow the whistle. I thought that was the saying, but anyways, Pittsburgh Penguins. What are you doing? Come on,
It's
Dubas.
clean as a whistle, by the way.
Clean as a whistle. Silent as a whistle is a new saying.
But see, I was also going to say about Pittsburgh, the funny thing is that if you look at Washington, at the very least, as long as Ovi's playing, they're doing whatever they can to win now. Chikrin, Dubois, Matt Roy, Mangiapane.
But they made the playoffs last year.
Yes, but my point is that at least they acknowledged the fact that they weren't good enough to compete, and they went out and made some moves. Whether you consider them good or bad, at least the GM was active.
Yeah.
What is going on in Pittsburgh right now?
I don't
Kyle
know.
Dubas masterclass.
Kevin Hayes, Beauvillier, Boko Imama. Come on.
They also got Sebastian Aho.
Oh yeah, Sebastian Aho, great. Like, what is going on? Tristan Jarry is still a Pittsburgh Penguin. I don't know how.
But anyway, that's my team in the East, New Jersey.
Yeah,
Is that
I
your
feel like
team as well?
that would probably be my team now that I'm looking. Like, again, if we're going through this quick, San Jose no, Chicago no, Anaheim no, Columbus no, Montreal yes, most likely no, Utah probably not. Yeah, Ottawa probably not, Seattle probably not.
Like that, but that would be my. Well, it's all
Who's your?
gross.
All right, let's just do the one team in the East, one team in the West.
Well, my one team in the East
Is
is
New Jersey. That is mine too.
Okay.
I think that's the obvious decision.
And in the
one
West,
team in the West could be a hot take. Give me the Minnesota Wild.
Okay, not bad. I don't think they did very. I mean, they got Zeke, but
I think they re-signed Middleton, which is
Sure.
solid. I think they still have a solid tandem with Gustafsson and Fleury. I don't think they're trying to lose. Yeah, look, they weren't very healthy last year.
Definitely
Doesn't help. I think Zook and Kaprizov are still good. And who did they? Kuznetsov? That's the Minnesota player.
Yeah, I don't know what to say his name probably.
Yeah,
Yes.
Kuznetsov. I'm trying to think of some of their other prospects. Oh, Marco Rossi and Boldy still making a push. Like, I think they're a good team.
Well, both Brock Faber and Rossi were in the top 5 for Calder voting, so there you
So
go.
there you go. So I think, look, there's not a lot of good West. Like St. Louis was the closest last year, but
It's actually gross what I'm looking at right here on my screen.
yeah,
I mean, if I had to choose one team, if I wanted to go outside of the box, I would say Seattle, just because I think, yeah, you can say they they signed Montour, they signed Stevenson, like they already have a pretty good base, like Burakovsky, Eberle, like
Sure.
no guys that are like exceptional.
just-
but
yeah.
again, you're looking at a year 3 Beniers, and you're looking at maybe Shane Wright playing this year, and you draft Berkeley Cannon has no relevancy this year. But if I had to choose a different team, I would say St. Louis, just because I think that they needed a reset. I don't think that their team is horrible on paper. I just think they need a more reset.
no, I agree. I don't think they got any better. Look, they re-signed Buchnevich, but they didn't really get any better.
Yeah,
I like that Seattle take because they did make the playoffs 2 years ago,
Right, so-
and weren't really any worse.
Right. So if you look at it from that perspective, they got better this season.
Montour,
You got to think Beniers is going to
development.
take a step.
Shane Wright comes up maybe. Look, almost point per game in the AHL, and their AHL team is very good. So the development's there.
Coachella
Give me
Valley.
Utah. I love that team. I don't know why I love the Arizona team, but they've got a lot of good guys. a lot of likable players and fantasy guys I've had in the past. So
Look, there's still a lot of offseason left. There's going to be, I'm hoping, like I mentioned before, some of those guys get traded and we see a
Yeah.
little bit more movement, especially from the Canadians.
Yeah.
Hughes get moving. Be nice to see Nate in the Habs uniform come October 9th or whatever it is.
for sure. Okay, so now that we've given our 2 non-playoff teams to make the playoffs next year, let's give our 2 playoff teams to not make the playoffs. One East, one West.
Okay, you want to go first with the East?
I haven't even taken a look here,
All
but
into
yeah, go ahead.
the New York Islanders.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Hot garbage. But if I wanted to be a little bit more outside of the box,
Mhm.
I would definitely say the Washington Capitals. I mean, I don't think
Is that more outside the box?
well,
You've gotten more inside the box, I think.
well, I don't know. I feel like it's actually
The other
wow.
teams are all
Not
very
next year.
good.
I mean, Tampa's realistically going to make the playoffs.
Now you got to think Toronto is, you got to think. Look, I'll give my hot take. I'll go Boston. Yeah, I'll go
We say that
Boston.
every year.
Yeah, I
And
said
they
it
end
last
up
year too.
playing- finishing first in the league.
Yeah. Look, I'm trying to be different. Look, I think all those wild card teams are just toss-up teams at this point. Was Tampa a wild card? Yes, they were. But
first one.
they're better than a wild card team. But look, I'll give Boston as my East team. And my West team, I'm going to say Winnipeg.
Okay, I was thinking along the same lines, but if I had to give one, I would honestly say the Kings.
Yeah, I think
mean,
they're a
like,
good.
the do what for Kemper thing. Like, yeah, you get the goalie that's gonna play games for you and whatever. But I mean, like, they didn't make any other moves aside from that.
Yeah.
And I feel like last year, like, things just weren't clicking. And like realistically, even though Dubois did not play well, you still lose a middle to top 6 forward. Like, you lost Arvidsson as well.
They did get worse, but I think
They lost
getting
Matt Roy also.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they lose guys on, like, you lose Sean Walker. He was on LA.
Before he got traded.
Okay, yeah.
He was
He was on LA,
he was in
then
on
traded.
Philly though also.
Oh, that's true. Sorry. So, anyways, you do get worse. I think the Dubois move is going to be great for them, though. But losing Arvidsson, because that second line was so good. Dano, Moore, Arvidsson,
Mhm.
very locked down. Like, that's a playoff line you want. But I think now that Fiala's
Also
going to...
got Cameron,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I look,
And
again...
Fogle, and more Fogle.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought he was still in...
He went
Edmonton.
$3.5 million for 3 years with the.
Oof,
with them.
that's... Look, good ads, bottom 6 guys. But I think
Joel
the...
Edmondson. That was an
That was terrible. That was really bad. That was really, really bad. 4 years too. I thought he was going to retire. But look, I think what I'm trying to get to is there are guys who weren't playing in the bottom 6 that were supposed to be will now get the chance, and they will make this team better. Because in the past few years, they've just been underachieving. And, you got guys like Kaliev. It seems like he's going to be on his way out. But guys in that same situation where they should be in a top 6 role that are playing on the 4th line. Now I think they're going to get a chance. Like, maybe Turcotte takes a step this season.
He signed,
So
he signed like another 3-year contract.
he signed a 3-year deal. So look, they're going to have a new look a little bit. And, their goalie problems are still very apparent. But I think LA made the right moves. Getting rid of that Dubois contract was magical. Honestly,
Absolutely.
magical.
But then taking up a big chunk of it with Joel Edmondson contract is questionable.
Yeah, that very questionable. I don't know what Blake was thinking there.
It's all good. But
Yeah,
that was eventful. We talked about pretty much every team. Obviously, it's tough to go into each team and dissect every single move. And I mean, we only know as much as we know, and it's all opinion based at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
definitely a lot of fun, and it's gonna be fun to see how this season shakes out. We're already in July, so you've got just about, what is it? 3 solid months until the season starts, right? Beginning
yeah, it
of
starts
October.
picking up.
Yeah, so it'll be exciting, but we'll definitely be back in the next week or so. So stay tuned for those episodes. Hopefully there's some movement across the league, but
Yeah, last thing, there's just still some notable guys on, like, trade guys. There's Line, Natchez, even Askarov you want to throw in there, and then Tarasenko still a free agent. So lots of stuff still to come.
there you go. Well, we appreciate you guys for listening as always, and we'll catch you guys next time.